There he is.
What's up, boss man? How we doing?
I'm looking down at the 6S, and I had 87%. I was like, by the time I get done with this call, I'll probably be down to 0. So I had to pull out the auxiliary battery.
I appreciate
backup generator.
How's it feel knowing that you're the only person in America that has to charge their phone once they see it get sub 90%?
See,
like you're starting to look for the wall outlets.
I'm meal to meal. Like I walk around the earth hungry at all times, searching. I'm never satisfied. Like, hey, where am I going to catch my next meal? In this case, when am I going to find a charger? Because I can't make calls.
It is real feast or famine for you. Sorry, I'm just trying to check our audio a little bit. All right, well, I think for the first about 30 seconds as we're blowing everyone's eardrums out, but I think it's a little bit better now. Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, every time we jump on a call, I worry about a couple of things. Another one now. Number one, I worry about it freezing, as it did while you had it in your hand and you were outside for, I think, about 10 minutes. Number two, I worry about it dying. And number three, every time we have a call that goes longer than like 20 minutes, you don't even move spots, but it starts to just lose cell phone service right then and there.
Right.
And you haven't moved an inch.
The satellite's always moving. So, in which case, maybe I catch it under a cloud or something.
Yeah.
It cuts me out.
Yeah, you get like a ricochet bounce off a satellite. It doesn't come back right where you want it to. I get that. I mean, I know an easy solution, which is, dude, if you got an iPhone 7, you'd be in better shape. like at this point, it's one of those pride things. You're like one of those guys. Man. You're one of those guys that's like very clearly balding, but he insists that like he still has a full, like luscious lock of hair. And he just refuses to come home. It's time to come home, bro. It's time to come home.
That's like in. I mean, I know a couple females around here that like the bald head with a beard. Unfortunately, I grow like the Amish neck beard.
Yeah. You're a big neck beard guy.
Nothing grows above the chin line, so it looks a little ragged.
I tell you what, dude, these last like 2-3 weeks or so, probably about 2 weeks, I tried growing the facial hair out, and it was awful. It was awful.
November.
Well, not even so much that. I think it was just to kind of like I wanted to check and see if I still like the facial hair that I grow in, if it still looks like that of like a 7th grader who's like kind of like in the puberty transition. And unfortunately,
Axe body spray on.
Yeah, I had to take it the full route. Unfortunately, it still does. It's just like crazy patchy. Wasn't full as well.
I'll one up you here. So before, what game was it? I want to say after. Who'd we play before Michigan State? Penn State.
No, Purdue.
Yeah,
Purdue.
Oh yeah, Purdue. Yeah, Purdue. I started growing the stash out because it was like started in November. And if you can remember right, the 2 days before Thanksgiving, I had a interview, Skype interview.
Yeah.
So
you gotta look yourself in the mirror, both figuratively and literally at that point in time.
I can't look like I just like got out of a D-wide and like trying to get a promotion.
Yeah.
So I shaved it off, put the suit on, and she didn't even get on the Skype call. She called in via phone. Didn't even see me. Like I made it known to her. Hey, I even ironed my shirt, put a tie on. like I'm trying. I'm not in grays.
Yeah, well then you had like your Ohio State basketball shorts on underneath it, but that's all right. You can get away with that.
Well, I mean,
I wonder.
I'm gonna chalk that up to why we lost to Michigan. I was rolling the stash strong.
We were balling. We were balling with stash, Nick. I tell you what. Here's another one for you too. If I'm not mistaken, bro, in 2014, 2015. You went through another one of those phases. You go through it like every 5-6 years, where you like insist you're a stash guy.
That's when we had the Euchre tournament.
Yeah, we had that Euchre tournament, and everyone was commenting about it.
Game.
Yeah, that's right. It was the Bama game. I'm just saying.
Is that Chris Hemsworth? Like, no, it's just me. Like, is that like Thor walking around? No, it's just me, guys.
It's either Nick, Thor, or a pedophile. We're not really sure which one. Could be any of the three. But I'm starting to. The more I look at that stash, the more I'm starting to think pedophile. So.
Oh man, I tell you what, that kind of segued into here on PTC, we're big recruiting guys.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we've been like pseudo Michigan, like not fans, but like they're carrying the torch for us.
They are carrying the torch. Like, say what you will about Michigan fans, but they've actually been pretty good to us. Number one, number two, they're carrying the torch. Yeah.
Well, there's a kid. Luckily, because the early signing day was yesterday.
Yeah.
End of yesterday.
Yep.
There's a kid in the 22 class, and we didn't offer him, but I've seen tape on him. And I don't know why I found this kid, Zeke Berry. He's a safety out of De La Salle.
Oh, really?
A 4-star kid. They got him the 3rd, so 6 days ago. Watch out for this kid.
Really? He looks like the truth.
6 foot, 2 bills, 205. He reminds you of Delpit from the Browns.
Does he bring the boomstick?
He brings the boomstick.
Really?
And we didn't offer him. I think he. Who was this big offer?
Oh, is that because we had? Is that because we had Sonny Styles?
It's because we had Sonny Styles.
Yeah.
Oregon, I think, was this other one that he was thinking about.
Probably crystal ball roll and made him want to jump ship to. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know which way he was leaning before that, but that certainly didn't help Oregon's cause when crystal ball rolled out.
No, but yeah, keep an eye out on that kid.
Yeah, they got that quarterback I was telling you about. I think he lives in. It's like the Detroit suburbs area, if I remember correctly. Maybe it's in Detroit. I can't remember, but he's from Michigan. But he has Ohio State ties. It's JD, and I cannot pull his last name. I wish I had that off the top of my head. But it was that
Denegal? Jaden Denegal?
Yeah,
from California?
No, I think he's from Michigan. I think he plays high school ball in Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. But he's that dual threat quarterback. Though I watched the tape on him, I thought he looked really, really good. And I think at one point it was between us and Michigan. And then he ended up committing to Michigan. I totally missed it when he did, but I think he's going to be a really good one. So now I got to watch out for him too.
Yeah, one good thing. Let me pull up what they have. So they're 12th nationally for the 22 class, 3rd in the Big Ten. They got 1 5-star kid, Will Johnson, corner from Michigan, which is solid.
Yeah.
But you know what I don't see? Out of these 20,
Quinn Ewers.
They do not have. Well, they don't have fucking $10 million to throw at Quinn Ewers. Well, they probably do. They just haven't done it yet. Not a single kid from Ohio.
Yeah.
That's what we fucking. We can't have you guys poaching our talent here.
Yeah, they poached Desmond Howard, which they can have him. I'm not a big Desmond Howard fan. If Michigan fans, if you want to discuss that, I'm more than happy to.
Herbstreit. Fuck, he roots for you guys more than he does us. That's why we ran his
Kirk is good at his job. Yeah, I know. We ran him to Nashville.
He's no Mark May, but he's a fucking step, a step above him. I mean,
dude, other than the second C. Smith, he might be the biggest Blue Jackets fan I know, though. He is always talking about and wearing Blue Jackets gear, more than Ohio State for that matter, which I guess that is counterintuitive for his job, I suppose. But yeah, Charles Woodson was from Ohio too, right?
Yeah, I mean, here we're going back in the fucking 80s. I mean, you can take like the 80s and 90s, and I'm gonna say this, and I hate to say this, but once again, I say it how it is, right?
Yeah, for better or worse.
I think
I'm not.
Fucking
you better take a deep breath before you keep going.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, I know Iowa sucked. Everybody knew that was going to be a blowout.
Yeah, okay.
Let's just get that straight.
Let's go through this. The Iowa, so we said we're going to do a couple of things here. So first and foremost, let's just address the title of the video, which is we're reacting to the Ohio State-Michigan game 2 weeks after the effect.
Michigan didn't get a recruit out of Ohio in 22 is the title of this
That's the title.
podcast.
I got to be honest with you. So for all the Michigan trolls, if this is what you came here for, I'll give it to you. I still can't watch fucking sports, bro. I still can't watch anything. I struggle watching like Dave Portnoy now. And then I learned, because I told you my escape was the Bill Burr podcast. It turns out he's a fucking Michigan fan. I don't even know why. He's from Boston. He has no fucking ties there. So I don't know why he's a Michigan fan. But then I got on the podcast and he started singing their damn fight song. I shut that off. And I just had a real quiet drive in my car from there, contemplating everything I know.
I know that you're not. Neither of us can stand even saying it. Tell me they have a legitimate chance of winning.
Yeah, let's get into this. So then the other thing, it'll be a very quick topic. They blew the fucking doors off of Iowa. I don't think that was a surprise to you or me.
I get 11 dudes off my street and probably put up more points than Iowa. That's not a fucking. They should never. That West is so bad. Even Michigan fans hit in the comments how bad the fucking West is. It's a joke.
They're aware. Yeah, they're aware. It's interesting, though, because, one of the things, I responded to one of our comments, and what I was telling them was, I remember when Harbaugh first got hired, I remember thinking to myself, oh, this could be kind of, because I always regretted, there are certain times in sports you wish you were either older or alive for to witness, like Mike Tyson when he was the baddest dude on planet Earth. I wish I could have saw Jordan versus the Bad Boy Pistons. I wish I could have saw the 10-year war between Bo and Woody. So I kind of thought when Harbaugh came there, we were going to get kind of our version of the 10-year war between him and Urban. Has a chance to kind of stack up that way between him and Day, though, where the winner, we're now playing what used to be for the Rose Bowl is now for the Big Ten title game. To your point, the West is a steaming pile of dog shit. So now you're playing for a college playoff berth every time, which is kind of fun.
They might run off 18 straight on us. I had a kid.
Take it easy.
A little kid. He's probably like 10. I was wearing my high state sweatshirt. He comes up to me, taps me on the shoulder. He's like, "Hey, sir, do you think we'll ever beat Michigan again?" and I pat him on the head.
Boys.
I don't know, son. I got a long road ahead.
Hey, kid, with all due respect, shut the fuck up and count my reps.
Hey, kid, I'm trying to do wrist curls here.
Have you seen my calves? I'm trying to do some calf raises here. So I got 45 minutes on these seated calf raises. God. I mean, it's just... I think it's a little early for that. We were a second youngest team in all of college football this year. It's not like we're losing. I like our defensive coordinator hire, by the way. I think Jim Knowles is going to be a really good fit.
Fantastic hire.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a good fit. So, I mean, ideally, we're at least average on defense. Can't be much worse than we were these last two seasons.
We'll be an elite defense in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward. I'm excited to see what Jim Knowles brings to the table.
He's losing a lot of guys too.
Who is? Michigan is.
They're an old team.
Yeah, I mean, we said this the last time we talked. I know Hassan Haskins. He's either going to go pro or he is a senior. I'm honestly not sure which one it is. I know they'll have Corum back. Yeah, it's not like I'm not like shaking in my boots at the thought of. I almost said McCarron. I can never remember this guy's name, and I don't know why. Are you going to help me?
McNamara.
Thank you. You're just letting me squirm. I knew you knew it. Yeah.
He was going to get there.
Yeah. Had to buzz the tower a couple times. Although, I am curious what J.J. McCarthy's going to be. He threw a pretty good dime against us, and obviously he can run, so he's got potential. I mean, I guess the thing is, I think they're going to be a good team, but I think we're going to have a good team next year. I think we're going to have a significantly better team next year. I really do. So we'll see.
You know what their problem is going to be, and we'll talk on the reaction to the Heisman. I mean, Heisman's not a big deal. I think we all know that.
Yeah.
Bryce Young is going to win this thing.
Agreed.
It reminds you, and I
know who Desmond's going to vote for.
Yeah, no shit. I think Aiden Hutchinson is the real deal.
Yeah.
But do you think it's more so because he's got a Jabo on the other side? It's like a Nick Bosa junior year, Chase Young freshman year, where you have two dudes on the ends and you can't cover them. You can't block them both.
So you're saying because of a Jabo, was Hayden inflated?
That much better. I mean, he's a fucking stud. He'll probably be the first pick, I'm guessing, or top 3. But is it like a Chase Young or a Bosa where they have two dudes on the end?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I think I think the way that usually works, at least in my mind, is I think it's more like a Nick Bosa or Chase Young, and then a Draymond Jones, where you have a guy that shines who's maybe a little bit overrated because the focus is on the other guys. So in other words, I don't think we're not, because they're on each side of the line. So
Right.
I think we didn't take a blocker away from Ojabo to go block Aiden, right? Because I guess the whole line slides in that instance, but I think they are both good players, Aiden specifically, and I don't think that he got inflated because of Ojabo, but it makes you think, how many sacks does he get because Ojabo maybe gets there first, doesn't make the play right away, but causes QB to hold the ball that much longer or something. It's an interesting thought. It certainly helps to have a committee versus just one guy for the entire line to worry about. I just feel like when you have
they're going to be a problem in the playoffs.
Yeah, there's one viewer comment that I wanted to read. He commented a day or two ago, and his response to me was a novel, which, to be fair, I've been writing novels to these guys too, so admittedly so. Let me go ahead. So, nice little shout-out for Theodore Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
Teddy Theodore Roosevelt.
Teddy Theodore, down goes Frazier. Yep, that's the guy. All right. The real crime here is I'm going to try to read this, and you know how illiterate I am. And to be fair, Teddy, let's call a spade here. Not all of your message was, grammatically sound, so that's going to trip me up a little bit. So basically, I had asked him what he thinks of the matchup against the other three playoff teams. It sounds like you and I are kind of on the same fence. I think Teddy's with us, too, where we're kind of on the boat of, I think they match up pretty well with all three teams. I really do. But, so Teddy gives us a shout-out back. All right, so if you want to go take like a water break or something, you got about 5 minutes by the time I get through all this. I think we match. So, and I quote, I'm not going to do an impression either. I think we match up well this year with the three teams that's left in the playoffs. I'm reading it verbatim. This is the first time in about 17 years I can say I'm confident we can beat them without sounding like an arrogant, like A should be N. Okay, I'm not going to do grammar corrections here, but Teddy, you know.
Paraphrase this thing.
He said they match up pretty well with all three of them. I think at one point he said in there, Georgia hasn't faced an offensive line like Michigan's or three running backs like Michigan's. I'd have to think about it in terms of like the running back caliber and offensive line caliber. I mean, maybe Alabama, right? I mean, Alabama.
They can't run the fucking ball.
Yeah, they had the hobble, and he alluded to that as well.
I'd say Auburn was probably the best running back / offensive line they played.
That's probably true. Yeah, that's probably true. This is like the first or second time all year I'd say we have an advantage at QB. I actually agree with that. If Stetson plays, there's talks that JT Daniels might get the nod. I don't think he's that good either. Yeah, I don't disagree. Man, if Georgia could just get the QB right, I mean, some might say they had Justin Fields on the roster and then they fumbled that one.
Yeah, it's a joke.
So
they got Georgia as a 7-point favorite.
Interesting.
That's wild.
Georgia and Michigan, the matchup's interesting because they feel like pretty similar teams, right? Imposing defense, offensive line, run the rock, and then
I don't think so, dude. I think Michigan can do more things. They can throw it if they need to, but they got a much better run game. Georgia can't score, dude.
In the SEC championship, Stetson threw to his tight end 16 times and receivers all receivers combined 17 times.
Yeah,
that dude.
The way, though, that kid is a fucking animal. He's a freshman. The Bowers kid.
I'm not sure if I'm familiar with him. Who's this for? Georgia?
He's the tight end you're talking about.
Oh, really? He's the truth?
Yeah, he's a freshman. Dude, he's a stud. He reminds you, he's like a more athletic version of Michael Mayer, the kid from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Or Baby Gronk or whatever. It's like, that's a little premature to call him Baby Gronk.
Probably true.
He reminds you of that. Kid's a target machine. So
you think he's better than Kyle Pitts? Again, early. He's only a freshman.
It's kind of. Yeah, I think he's a better target guy. Kyle Pitts is more athletic, but he's more athletic than Gronk. And Gronk's a fucking better tight end.
Sure. Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So
keep that in mind for fucking fantasy in 3 years, viewers.
Teddy goes on. If we make it past Georgia, which I think we will, a matchup against Alabama doesn't seem as daunting as it did before the start of the season or ever to that period. I think we can beat Alabama by playing a similar style to how we played against Ohio State. That's a good way to put it. Alabama seems like somewhat similar to Ohio State, I think. By limiting their possessions, by Michigan possessing the ball and scoring 7 points instead of 3. That's a big one. where whenever Alabama has the ball, force their talented players to catch everything in front of them. That's what they did against us. They did that too high safety. There's one more thing I want to say from the game, so I'm going to say it now or else I'm going to forget. I went back and watched. I didn't watch the game. I still can't. It gives me too much PTSD. But I went back and watched that Cam Brown altercation because I just kind of forgot how it all went down. Dude, he was kind of a punk on that play. It's like the Michigan player held his leg a little bit longer than he wanted to. Then he just yanked his fucking helmet off. It's like getting flicked in the ear, so you turn around and punch him square in the nose. Just
Yeah, I mean it was ridiculous, especially the video or the picture with him and two fucking offensive linemen about to body him. It kind of struck me as coach in basketball throwing a fucking chair Bobby Knight style just to get the team fired up. That's kind of what it felt like. Hey guys, we're getting our shit kicked in.
I mean, it really didn't hurt us because I think at that point it was second and goal from the one.
He was fighting. He's the only one that was doing anything.
We'll give him that. It was still kind of a punk move.
Dumb fucking play. I mean, maybe spear somebody or something.
Yeah.
I'd rip his helmet off.
And since the Michigan faithful are just feeling themselves, listening to us implode right now, I'm going to say this. Well, it wasn't as D-bag of a move as Aiden Hutchison and one other guy untying J.K. Dobbins' shoe. You remember that in the big house 2-3 years ago. Now I will continue.
We got to slow him down somehow.
Yeah, he was a man possessed that day. Don't let anything over their head. And when they catch or run the ball, wrap up. You can't miss tackles in this game or you'll pay for it. Once again, I like Michigan's D-line versus Alabama's O-line. All season, when teams got pressure on Bryce Young, he made questionable decisions with the ball. And for Michigan to win this game, they have to control the time of possession and put pressure on Bryce Young. This is the year Bo Schembechler and Woody Hayes, physical-type teams, can win the national championship. If Cincinnati wins against Alabama, that's a dangerous team to play. That's a dangerous team, too. All year, they've... here we go. See, now I get lost in the sauce. All year they've heard they don't belong and shouldn't be here. They're playing with house money and will throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at you. I wouldn't want to play a disrespected team like that for the national championship, but that's just me. To go from the hunter to the hunted. Not everyone can handle that. Well put. Well put. Yeah. It was a really good response. The issue was I couldn't keep up and respond to all of it, so I'll give you a shout out, Teddy, and just let you know we addressed it on this episode of the podcast. So if you want to check it out, buddy, thanks again for the comment, and thanks for all the comments. They keep on kind of rolling in a little bit. Yeah. Mark LaFrance fucking roasted us.
I agree with what he says. I mean, I wouldn't be concerned about Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I don't see. I mean, they're 13.5-point dogs.
Well,
that might not be enough.
I was gonna say, you think Bama's gonna cover that? I'd probably bet on Bama to cover.
I think it's cool they got in.
I mean, it was the right year for them. I mean, they deserve the 4 spot. I'm convinced. I think the rankings are correct. I like where they're at. 1, 2, 3, and 4.
It would have been interesting to see if Oklahoma State won, what they would have done with that. Big 12 champ with 1 loss.
Yeah. But they really didn't play anybody,
though. Bed. Shocker.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That was my last impression of Jim Knowles' defense, too. That's where he's coming from. He's the DC there. Well, not a great first impression, I suppose, but we'll let it slide.
Baylor's good, man. They're the first win against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Isn't saying much. But
I mean, if you're making it to a conference championship game, you're a good team. Maybe except for the Pac-12, but that's besides the point. All right, so very, very way too early score predictions. Bama versus Cincy, Michigan versus Georgia. What are you thinking? And yes, you have a right as we get closer to change this.
Bama versus Cincy, I'm going to go 38-20.
I like that. I had 42-20 in my head, Bama.
Okay, and Georgia, Michigan, I'm going to go... I think it's going to be now that Georgia played somebody and Bama hung a 30 rack on them in the first half, I'm going to say 45-31.
Yeah, that's pretty high scoring. So
that might be too fucking.
I don't know. You never know. It's just I don't see Georgia getting 30 plus on Michigan's defense. I don't know what I see Michigan getting to. I mean, do you think Georgia's front seven's going to be able to, I feel like if Michigan's going to win the game, Cade McNamara needs to have, almost similar. I think he threw for God, what was it? It was either 295 or 395 or something like that against Michigan State, albeit this is a better team than Michigan State, but I think he's going to have to play out of body on certain possessions because he's going to have a lot of third and longs against Georgia, I think.
What Georgia showed against Bama was if you can give, in this case, McNamara some time, their back four, their DBs aren't that good.
Yeah.
They're not as good as their front seven.
But I guess I don't put as much stock into Michigan's receivers as I do Bama. I certainly don't put as much stock into McNamara as I do Bryce Young. You with me? I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm just so fucking sad. It's not us. It should be us versus Georgia. That's the matchup everybody wanted. It should be us.
That wouldn't happen anyway. We would have played them in the first game.
We would have been number 1 potentially, because we were number 2.
No, man. You know how they roll with Alabama.
Yeah, but I know this much. Well, they would have liked to have. I don't think they would have done Ohio State and Cincinnati actually, because that wouldn't have brought in as many. So I thought they were going to do, assuming Georgia won that, I think they would have done Michigan versus Cincinnati, because Michigan's fan base, number 1, gives it a good chance in terms of ratings, because Michigan's probably going to win that game and make it to the championship. So I think they would have done, and because then you get like the Ohio State fans watching that too, as well as the whole country is on top of that. But more Cincinnati faithful, because it's like at least Ohio. You know what I'm saying?
True.
We'll
see.
Michigan, Georgia. I don't even have a good. I think if I had to pick right now, I think I would say Georgia wins the game, 27 to 21, I think is what I would go with. I'll give Michigan 24. I'll say 27-24, and McNamara throws a pick in the fourth quarter on the last drive or something. My issue with picking Michigan is I just don't know how much faith I have in McNamara if the run game's not going. That's my biggest issue. I think he threw the rock 3 times in the second half against us. Your response is going to be, well, he didn't have to, and you're right, but what happens if he does have to?
Yeah, he don't have to.
No, I think he will, though. I mean,
did you watch the New England Buffalo game? Mac Jones was 2 of 3, and they won the game.
Well, I don't think that's going to be that similar weather. I don't even know whether they're playing Miami or
Cat 5 gusts and negative 10 degrees.
I wouldn't bet on it. That's all I'm saying. But yeah. I like the Final Four, though. I like the matchups. I think they got the right 4 teams. I think they got them in the right order. So let's play some ball. I'm here for it. So
yeah.
Last note of discussion, I believe, is Ohio State and Utah. I know you're just going to say you don't give a shit. You're not going to watch it anyways. So go ahead.
No, I'll watch it. I say that, and I'll be fucking shitting every 5 minutes. I'm so fucking nervous.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say we're gonna be short our 2 stud receivers.
Yeah,
so we're gonna see some young guys.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we'll have a good amount of opt-outs, I think.
I'm gonna say 54-17 Bucks.
I don't hate that. Yeah, I think we're going to. I bet on us to be the highest scoring bowl game and bowl
why not
team.
Just hucking around, right?
Yeah.
At this point.
Just out of curiosity, is Jim Knowles in Columbus right now, or does this kind of take form after Oklahoma State's bowl game as well as ours?
I don't know.
I don't know how that works, but I'm led to believe it's effective immediately. For instance, had Notre Dame made it, it would have been Marcus Freeman coaching him.
Right.
So maybe Jim Knowles in the boat. Not that he's going to do anything before that game. Not that it really even matters at this point. I am kind of excited for the Rose Bowl. We haven't played in the Rose Bowl for a while. And that's always a fun one to watch. I'd like to go to that one of these years. I know.
It's yeah.
I know.
But you got UM actually going to a game that fucking matters.
There's Ohio State Michigan fans that have passed on to the other side, that where the Rose Bowl was everything when they were watching college football, doing backflips in their grave, hearing us talk about we're stuck with the fucking Rose Bowl.
Well, that's what the playoffs do, though. I mean,
here's the thing is, you know, what do you think the expansion's going to go to? Because if it goes to like 8, I mean, we'll be in almost every year. And that kind of goes for Michigan too, assuming you guys hold this form. Assuming you guys hold this form, we'll see. Oh, that was a question I wanted to tee up for you, actually. Do you think, and you and I were actually, in my opinion, I actually thought we were pretty fair to Harbaugh, considering all the hate he was getting and everything. I mean, we both acknowledge he was a good coach, went to a Super Bowl and everything. Thought he was good for the rivalry, but admittedly so, he was kind of falling flat on his face in the rivalry games, and still has some work to do there, because 1-5 isn't necessarily where, you know, like that's the final destination. But do you think Michigan fans were too quick, right on time, or too early to write off, or too late to write off Jim Harbaugh?
Well, I mean, that's kind of a double-edged sword. They're going to say he should have been canned 2 years ago, and I agree with that. And then their rebuttal would be, who are we going to get?
That was always the rebuttal.
I don't have an answer for that either.
That was always the answer.
If he didn't fucking wax our ass a couple weeks ago, I think that was going to be it.
Yeah, but so
this might have bought him like fucking 5 years.
I mean, damn! Rumor on the street is they're still talking about his lifetime contract again. So what happens though? Like, if Ohio State beats,
by the way, it should be fucking 1-6. You guys had 2 wins last year, and you ducked us in a fucking COVID.
That is true. Let's
just get that straight. It would have been probably 70. Well, Ryan Day predicted 100 points, so I'm going to say 100 to 9.
I'm going to say 102 to 3.
and all you fucking Michigan people you cannot say that's incorrect.
That's factual.
Because that would have got you ducked us. Let's just get that straight. You fucking ducked us.
That's factual. Yeah,
we showed up to the blind date and you fucking you didn't even call it. You ghosted us.
Yeah, you just blocked all communications. Like, you blocked us on Twitter. We couldn't even tweet at you. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, like I tried to hop on the MySpace page, see the profile, and you were at the zoo with some other fucking guy. So so we'll say he's 1-6.
Sure.
Because that's an ass beating. I mean, I think you got to agree with that, right? I mean, this bottom time.
It certainly did.
They didn't have anybody. There's nobody else out there.
Well, you know what? The 3 things everyone held over his head, rightfully so, was you didn't beat Ohio State, you didn't make it to Indianapolis and or win, and you didn't make it to the playoff. Well, this one season, he's crossed off all 3 off the list. My question to you is, what happens if Ohio State wins next year? So now he's 1-6/1-7, doesn't go to Indy, obviously doesn't go to the playoff then. My question to you is, then what happens?
Doesn't matter. I mean, because hell, he's won like 10 games. How many times?
Yeah, close to every year. Close to every year.
He can't win a big game. Asterisk this year. I still think he's 5 might be a little much. I'm gonna say he bought himself a 3-year window.
I would agree with that. I think that's a good number. I'd agree with that. I'm curious too. If any Michigan fans, if you're listening right now, I'd love to know your thoughts on how much like that duration of the window Jim Harbaugh bought himself, and moving forward, what is your grounds for where people start calling for his head again? So like, if he goes the next 2 or 3 seasons, if he goes next year, loses to Ohio State, has 1 or 2 losses, is everyone still good? And then if he goes another year, then you lose at home to us. Then is that where the chatter starts to pick up again? I'm honestly curious what you guys think in terms of what he has to do moving forward to keep his job.
Right.
So I don't know. I think that 3-year window is fair.
If he blows his load this year.
Yeah.
Well, if he wins it, he's set. You don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
If he makes it to the final game, that might get pushed to 5 years.
Yeah.
If he loses to Georgia, I think it's 3. That'd be my breakdown.
I think that's fair. That's a good barometer. I don't disagree with that. All right,
if he wins it,
the
fucking bronze statue goes up.
The ink will be dried on that lifetime contract. Before he receives the trophy, he'll have that contract.
They won't even know who Bo Schembechler is. They'll be like, yeah, I've never heard of the guy. This is Jim Harbaugh's town.
Yeah. Let's see here. In terms of everything I had, we discussed the viewer comment I wanted to discuss. Yeah, talked about the Iowa game. Talked about us in the Rose Bowl. College football playoff preview, check. And you kind of already touched on the Heisman finalists. You know, the one thing everyone was kind of getting upset about with the Heisman was apparently everyone's up in arms, at least in SEC country, because, and to be honest, there is some validity to this, but Will Anderson is a bad motherfucker. And they think he should have been invited.
That's not the snub of the awards, dude. We didn't have not one of the three made first-team All-American.
I saw that. That was criminal, too. That was criminal, too.
That's like stealing out of the fucking Salvation Army pot. Like, I don't know. You just can't do that.
Yeah, I thought that was a little ridiculous, too. I was cool with Bryce Young being the QB. I was cool with who did we have? It was Nicholas Petit-Frere, I think, was the only guy at tackle.
No, not first team.
We had one first team. It was either him or
Noah Ruggles.
No, bro.
Yes, dude.
No,
I just looked yesterday.
I just saw it like an hour ago.
Noah fucking Ruggles was our only guy.
He was pretty good.
Hey, he only missed one field goal. He's 18 and 19.
Yeah, I mean, I hate these seasons. And then we gotta wait a whole nother year. I just wish it didn't ruin, like, it ruins, like, basketball for me, or, like, Sports Center, you know?
Sports Center's a fucking joke. I mean, you need to get on the Cougars bandwagon.
Put all my eggs in the BYU. Or they bounced back from that.
Utah State last night.
That's
by
big.
The way.
That's big. Yeah. They were due for a bounce back. I saw Ohio State was struggling a little bit with, like, Townsend State or something.
Towson from Maryland, if you're keeping track at home.
I heard they're a scrappy team. So that's actually a pretty good win. They ended up winning by 8.
I don't know. It was a terrible call. Some guy was talking, like, one of the commentators was talking about a ball fucking python for like 40 minutes of the call. So there wasn't much like game action going on. He just kept talking about snakes.
Well, it's better than that time you and I were watching Oregon versus somebody, and of course Bill Walton with his stupid fucking tie-dye shirt was on there. Only talked about himself for the duration of the entire game, all 40 minutes of it. It was absolutely, or 60, whatever it is, 40 minutes of the game.
But Bill Walton like earned that right to like talk like an asshole. This dude, I don't even never heard of the guy. And he's talking about ball pythons for the entire game.
Well, do you have a good analogy with it? Like, did it make sense?
He was at home. He didn't even make the trip to Columbus. He was like, they showed him, and
he's like in like his basement.
Yeah, and he had like a plastic snake. It was a fucking disaster. I mean, I might call in and be like, dude, I won't watch another game if that guy's. He said, hey, good win by Ohio State. Next week we're going to talk about pit vipers. And, like, the endangered fucking yellow lancehead viper from South America.
He's like giving teasers, like King Cobra's. Yeah, it's just on the horizon, so stay tuned for that.
I actually hate sports, but I'm a big fucking Steve Irwin guy. R.I.P.
So, we hired the wrong guy. We accidentally got Jungle Jack Hanna on the call for some reason. I don't know how we made this mistake. Honestly, ESPN probably would pull that off after the whole Bishop Sycamore thing. What a bunch of fucking idiots. You had to put one Google slap on it and you would have realized that building isn't even there. Dude, if you like Googled their address, it was like an apartment complex in like Delaware. Like, literally one Google slap and it would have been very apparent to you that was bullshit. I think that made me the most mad was it was like Ohio's and then we all had like a bunch of fucking idiots. I remember I was watching it with Lax. I flipped it over because it was IMG versus them, and IMG clapped their cheeks by like 60. And I remember telling him, I was like, I've never heard of this school, and sure enough, now we know why.
Yeah, they were at like a fucking their main campus is in a strip mall next to Mattress Mart. I mean, you're right, dude. Hit a Google slap, and just you'll know.
Do a lick of research.
Enrollment's 20, and That's Muirfield Village.
And the QB is 24 years old. He's ripping cigs as he gets off the bus. That doesn't feel right.
Yeah, he was not on a 9-year mission. He's actually 24.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, well, you got anything else for me, bro?
No, that's it. We'll revisit the when it gets closer to game time. We'll read the comments.
Yeah.
See what you guys think.
There was
we'll revise our predictions once it gets closer.
There was one other comment I just wanted to read off to you, just get your reaction. I already responded to it, but Mark Torlafrance said,
Mark Tortorella, R.I.P. Jackets manager.
Yeah, we'll be seeing you. He hit us a couple days ago. I knew Michigan was going to kill OSU. OSU is soft with a paper defense, and Ryan Day only pays attention to offense and throwing the ball all over the field. Michigan is built to play any team, anywhere now. Welcome back to the rivalry, guys. Like, it wasn't like he, like he didn't, like, offend me. But he kind of thinks he called out Ohio State, I guess. But it was just, I don't know if we were soft.
I don't know if I would say welcome back to it. Like I said,
and that got me too.
Boys 1-7. You ghost us last year. We have a young team. Like, okay,
just so nauseous.
We can't run the ball. We'll talk next year when Travion goes for about 260.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that one later. Soft is a little much.
Yeah, we're about 351 days away or so by my math. I don't know,
something
like that.
Early prediction 22. Bucks 65-7.
I like that.
And that's because we put in the third stringers deep in the floor. Actually, we won't call it dogs off. 86-3 final.
That was the last thing. So I'm sure you heard, and I'd like to hear from the Michigan fans as well on this. But so Jim Harbaugh after the game, he highlighted in his comment was, I'm sure you saw this, was some people are born on third base and think they hit a triple. I didn't think that was appropriate. I don't think Ryan Day, I fully understand the team he took over from Urban. I fully understand that. At the same time, anytime you take a blue blood team, I mean, you could make the same argument even for Jim Harbaugh, and your argument's going to be, well, we were dog shit before then. Yeah, but you still had good recruiting classes. You still had the resource base that is Michigan. You still had the brand that is Michigan. Like, it's not hard to recruit to Michigan, relatively speaking.
Give him a little slack. Dude was on like the face of the sun type hot seat.
That is true. That's fair.
And this was right after the game.
Yeah, that is fair.
And to be honest, he's not necessarily that wrong. I mean, he just won.
Yeah, he was getting absolutely destroyed by the media, and I actually did feel kind of bad for him.
We kind of touched on it. He's done.
Yeah.
I mean, if he lost that game, he's done.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is true. So, I mean, I'm with you on that. I guess my issue was, like, it's not like Ryan Day tripped and fell. Like, he earned his way up, and then, your last job as the Ohio State head coach is to make sure you have the right replacement, and that's what Urban did. Like, Ryan Day had proved himself, and I understand.
Let's talk about your guys' last two fucking head coaches.
Yeah, those motherfuckers were born on third base, too, and they fucking tripped and fell and got called out.
Yeah, on third base, and then the next three guys went down fucking.
Yeah, they got picked off. It's as embarrassing as it gets.
He's got a Willie Mays Hayes type fucking lead on third, gets picked off right out of the gate.
Yeah, he got picked off by John Lester. The motherfucker can't even throw to one of the bases.
No, he can't. Yeah, Rich Wright, what a stud hire that was.
So, all right, but that's my rant. I don't know. I didn't like those comments. I'm sure Ryan Day didn't either. So, but here's the thing, dude. Looking at it objectively, it's good for the rivalry for Michigan to win. It's good for the shit talk. It's good for the rivalry to have that level of shit talk, and it makes the rivalry what it is. There's a reason why it's the best rivalry in all of sports, and that's not the case. And it was being called into question when it was so one-sided. So, objectively, it is good in terms of the optics of it. It's bad if you're an Ohio State fan and then you have to listen to fucking Desmond Howard. Okay, yeah, I'm going to say this.
So wrap it up here.
This is the last thing. Michigan fans, I need to understand why your graduates who are then on TV to talk about sports do not have the ability to be objective And if you tell me Desmond Howard is objective, you're lying. If you tell me Charles Woodson is objective, you're lying. Charles Woodson, every time their big noon kickoff is even mentions Michigan at any point during the episode, he will stand up, walk around, and grab his Michigan flag and start waving it in everyone's faces. And it's like, dude, you guys are on fucking bye this week. Why are you even? I don't understand. Desmond Howard has never picked against Michigan, maybe in the history of the time he's been at College Game Day. And he throws everybody with relative to Ohio State under the bus every single time, and he won't give us any credit ever.
I like it though. I mean, I think we
why?
We got like
it makes me mad.
And these other fucking slabs that we won't talk about Ohio State because they think it makes them look like homers. At least they're defending their squad.
Well,
I mean, I kind of like it, even though because I mean, that's ridiculous. He's like, yeah, Michigan by $1 billion today, even though they won by like $1 billion. Like it's good. He shouldn't be like that. And those are two poster childs of the program.
I don't care. They've interviewed Eddie George before on First Take. He's been objective. They've interviewed Archie Griffin many times. He's been objective, and he's not like obnoxious waving the flag in your face.
Archie's a lot older than
I mean, good fucking guy.
Fucking L5 out if you try to do that.
Fucking Christ.
Not Eddie. Eddie looks like an Adonis. Eddie can still tote the rock.
I tell you what. Eddie could rush for 250 any given Saturday right now if he had to. He does look really good.
You can lace him up for 250 at any time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right, dude. We'll revisit this when it gets close to the time. Put the comments down there. See what you guys think about the game predictions.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's
talk about it.
Let's do a fake hang up here, and then I'll stop recording after we both say bye to each other, and then I just gotta ask you something that's due for off the podcast, which now makes it sound really weird. Actually, okay, I'll just fucking say it right now. You want to do our other recording tonight, or you want to do it tomorrow? I really don't care.
We'll do it tomorrow.
All right. I had a hunch that was gonna be your answer anyways. All right, so that's squared away. Yeah. Okay, so now you can actually hang up now. Like Nick said, please like, share, subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much for all the comments. Thanks for giving us a chance. We really appreciate the views. Also, I saw we got another subscriber, and unfortunately they had it hidden, so we didn't get to see who it was. But the number is officially up to 8, so we appreciate you, good sir.
Fucking A.
Thanks.
2 more to 10.
Yeah. 2 more till we hit a milestone. So good deal. We really appreciate it. Thanks for giving us a chance. We appreciate your views, appreciate the comments, even from the banter with the Michigan faithful. For the most part, we give you guys a hard time, but you guys have actually been pretty good to us, so we do appreciate it. But other than that, Nick, I'm good if you're good, buddy.
Yeah, man.
All right.
We'll catch up here a bit.
Yep, sounds good. Good talking to you as always, big dog. We'll do it again soon.
See you.
Yep, we'll talk to you. Later.